We're out here in the lovely British sunshine, 2 minutes past 8, and we're here for Fog Entertainment Fairy. Apologies for no videos yesterday, but the big man wasn't well, no me. Well, I was a bit hungover like the other guy. Don't know what's going on with him. Some serious stomach issue, bug, you name it. So, don't know when will be the next time we'll hear from the guy, so drop your love. You know what I mean? But thankfully here in the UK, if it does come to the hospital, he won't be charged an arm and a leg. You know what I mean? But all that good stuff, greatly appreciate it. You know, if someone's made of money and just wants to medically retire the big man, go ahead, but hell. Anyway, right. Did Christopher's death suck? Well, Tony permanently retired Christopher Moltisanti, and I feel like this is going to be the last time that we actually talk about his death, so we may as well get in 172 votes here for Christopher Moltisanti. Hold on, scrap that, I just realised we've already did that. I was like, you know what, I feel like I've talked one too many times about Christopher Moltisanti's death. There's no way this is another vid on it. Anyway, the new theory. Should New Jersey have whacked Butchie and Alb? Sopranos season 6, right? So 83% said yes and 17% say no. You know what? I think if you're going to go all out, you may as well try and take. I mean, they tried to take off Jersey's head, so Tony may as well try and do the same, right? Now, do you know, think in the Sopranos, right? Like, I've seen a couple of clips for like season 1, and they always refer to the old man in Springfield, right? Now, for all those fanboys out there that try and claim that this show's got no plot holes, who the fuck's the old man in Springfield? So, he ran things, and then, he's away in jail. Well, who the fuck is he though? You know what I mean? It was, you know, like, hold on. So, 1 minute it's Johnny Boy Soprano, right? With Uncle Junior by his side. Then he dies. Then who's the old man in Springfield? You know, it never really gets mentioned again. It's like early season what? The old man in Springfield. You know what I mean? Then Jackie Aprile Sr. takes over, and then obviously he dies. Tony gives it to Junior, but Tony's effectively, you know, acting boss / boss for the whole show. I mean, Junior to the end probably thinks that you may run that judge, but you don't run your Uncle Junior. You know what I mean? So, how many fucking hours did I spend playing catch with you? It's like, does no one see like the plot holes there, right? With this whole, the old man in Springfield. Who is the old man in Springfield? You know what? So someone actually fucking tell me. And then the other problem I think you've got, you always hear about New York and the 5 families, right? So why is it we only ever get to deal with the Libertazzi family? Everyone's like, the other families wouldn't have taken too kindly to Tony trying to kill, pointing a gun at Coco, doing that to Coco, pointing a gun at Butchie, and then, getting Phil killed. The other families, right? The other 5 families, or the other way, so the 4 families, the other 4, whatever, the other families in New York, where are they? I need names. Who's the leader of? You know what I mean? This thing of ours, baffles me a wee bit. I mean, as somebody who's watched the show now twice, I think like leadership roles in Jersey at the start of the show kind of make no sense. Of the old man, but like, the amount of references they make to the old man, it's like he wasn't rotten in spring. So who is he? So was he the boss? And why did he go to jail? It's never really mentioned. You know what I mean? And then like the whole 5 families in New York. No, honestly, Soprano fanboys, am I living under a rock, or does the show explain the whole families thing? Because people keep going, the families wouldn't have stood for it. That's why someone walked in at the end and killed Tony. But I've not seen a fucking mention of the 5 families, guys. Come on. Doesn't make any sense, but people are commenting, the fact, like, some people comment like, the 5 families, right, or whatever the fuck, wouldn't have stood for Tony killing Butchie and Alb. And it's like, well, hold on, they're just going to fucking sit on their hands while he kills Phil Leotardo. Anyway, let's just dive into these comments, man. Randy Cunningham says, Butchie with it, Tony. Yeah, I mean, they have that sit down, and like, we give up Phil, and then obviously probably ends in him dying. I mean, there's always speculation about who killed Tony in the end. I mean, was it Patsy and Polly? Were they working with New York? But it's like, see, when you watch The Sopranos, forget about 5 families and what exists in real life. No one's telling me if you watch The Sopranos, you think New York's 5 families. Like, honestly, see if you ask like the average person that's watched The Sopranos, they just think New York is the Libertazzi crew and there's no one else. Like, that's all we ever see. You know, like Carmine, Johnny Sack, when Phil gets out, you know, Doc, Butchie, Coco, those kind of guys, you know, Johnny Peeps, Billy Leotardo, you know, even when like guy like Rusty, Doc, the hairpiece guy, they're all the one family, or at least that's the way it's portrayed. It's not like, oh, he's from that side of the family. You know, I'd actually be very intrigued to see what fucking Reddit says about this, like all the 5 families. Wilco says, just because you wanted them to doesn't mean it makes sense. New York would crush New Jersey, and New York's wanting to talk, you better listen to them while you have the chance. Yeah, but I'd argue in New York they've took, but I don't think the way the show's portrayed, right? Like, yeah, I know they say New Jersey's a glorified crew, right? And I totally understand that. But see, when you see them like sitting around tables and Phil's like telling fucking Butchie and Coco and shit like that and Alvin, do you ever get the vibe, right, that New York truly like outnumbers New Jersey by this like massive amount? I think by the end, because I mean in the Soprano crew, I mean a lot of people just fucking died by the end. But I honestly don't get those kind of vibes, folks. I really don't. I don't get those kind of vibes. Come on, over here, walking the dog here, folks. Tori says, I don't get how Tony would think that he could eliminate or whack the boss, one of the 5 families in New York, without permission from the commission, and live. I replied to this and say, don't say that, the Fab Boys will be here to bash you. But again, I just don't understand this whole 5 families thing, man. Now, I've got the Wikipedia up here. It says here, in The Sopranos, the DeMeo family, led by Tony Soprano, operates in New Jersey, while the Libertazzi, a rival faction, operates in New York City and is connected to the 5 families. The 5 families in the show are the Bonanno, the Colombo, the Gambino, the Givesi, and the Lucchese families, right? So the Libertazzi aren't even a member of the 5 families. But if I didn't Google that, does that explain that in the show? Now, it says here, the Libertazzi family, led by Carmine Libertazzi, is portrayed by having ties to these 5 families, though they are not explicitly one of the 5. The show also mentions real-life crime families like the Gambino family, further establishing the show's connection to the real-world mafia. So, I mean, does that not technically make the Libertazzi crew a glorified crew as well? You know, you see, it doesn't really make any sense about how, like, oh, like, so New York is portrayed as these big bad guys with loads of connections, right? And like, and I know it's saying Carmine, like, I know it's saying Carmine's got connection to you know, the 5 families, but to me that just proves my point. It's like, hey Sal, did she even exist? I mean, do the fucking 5 families even exist? Now, someone put up on Reddit, do the 5 families even exist? And I'm sure the fanboys had a wee meltdown here. Because I don't really understand what the hell's going on, honestly. You know. Anyway, folks, I think that's where we're going to fucking leave this video. I think we need to do a bit more of a deep dive into this, because it's like, the more you read it, it sounds like the Libertazzi crew are like a like, I bet you the 5 family thinks that fucking the Libertazzi crew are a glorified crew. It's like, what? And you try to tell me? And people comment, oh, New York, Carmine are supposed to be based on the Gambinos. And also, right, so Jake, don't you drop that ball. He's carrying a ball over a main road. But it says here that Phil Leotardo says 5 fucking families and we got this other pygmy thing over in Jersey. There's no scraps in my book, or in my scrapbook. Make it happen. But then you've got another comment saying the Libertazzis are the Lucchese family. I mean, make it make sense. No one fucking knows. it doesn't make it. You know, it's like when you watch other TV shows, right? You know which crew's which crew, I think, right? And I think for the most part in the Sopranos, like you've got New York, you've got New Jersey, but then there's just these other 5 families that there's like never an introduction into. I don't know, just weird. Just weird, guys. Absolutely weird. You're mixing your metaphors. Polly referred to Johnny Sack as the underboss here, 5 families. Right, Jake, come on. Over here. An army of 1. Doesn't Polly reference the Columbos when Sil sits him in the office to make them call he's made on Phil? I don't know, guys. I just don't think. I'm gonna Google this. Hold on. 5 families. Plot hole. Sopranos. See, despite the fact these families are mostly fictional, characters constantly reference the real 5 families throughout the show. But no, I don't get it, right? We're not talking about, you know, 5 families, right? That they're across the world. I mean, they're in the same state. You know, I mean, they're in New York. I just don't get it. Anyway, I'm done.